But anyway, right. Actually. Welcome to the Dictator podcast with me, Michael.
And me, Joe.
To be fair, so obviously you've got the two of us. I'm Michael, this is Joe. We are in a band called Dictator. We are in the middle of releasing an EP. We've got St. Luke's at the, when is it, September
8th.
September the 8th, I keep forgetting. But in between them, we thought it'd be quite good to kind of explain what it is we're up to, because I feel the past couple of weeks it's looked like we're mad quiet because the past few months have been absolutely mental. Like just in terms of like we were away like every other day, it felt like, and then suddenly nothing.
Yep.
But we're actually no doing nothing. Like we've been away recording live sessions, we've been away playing gigs, we played live at Livy, as you just said there, but it still feels like so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like you're desperate to get back to being busy again.
I know. It kind of just feels like no falling off, but you just didn't feel party the whole scene again. But the mental thing is it's only been like 2 months since the full tour came to an end. I suppose when was it? The start of May.
Yeah, it started May, but we've been quiet for it. It feels like 3 or 4. It's 4 weeks, I think, is when we've been quiet, but it feels like 6 months. And all the festivals have been kicking off this year. And for anybody who doesn't know how, like, because that's one of the things, like, I'm getting serious FOMO about seeing
big time
festivals and stuff like that. But what we didn't realise at the start was a lot of the festivals are back booked from 2020 this year. Like Glastonbury, not that we were going to get Glastonbury. Like they offered us a headline, but we're like, nah,
too much.
Seen a thing in the Mirror the day saying that the headliners only get £500,000 only. I was like, that's shite.
What?
That's absolute shite. But it's because they gave loads of money away to charity, apparently. Anyway, but for us this year, we knew that we weren't going to be playing festivals. We didn't. We actively we've declined some offers, not huge big festivals, but we've declined some offers because we've obviously got our set our sights on next year. We want to try and play next year, but it's difficult seeing all the stuff this year and seeing all like bands that you would kind of say were your peers going to be playing these festivals, and it's you get so jealous, man. You're buzzing for them, like, but you're jealous as hell watching them play.
Definitely. It was like selling my ticket for Primavera. Obviously, not playing it. But at the time of selling my ticket back in February, when we had that much on the gigging and that, it didn't even cross my mind, and I wasn't fussed, to be honest. And then the 2 weeks that it went on for, it was horrendous, man. I couldn't go on social media or anything like that. And to be honest, I don't think I've watched anything of Glastonbury or that yet.
So I know, man. I sat on Saturday night after live in Livy, fell asleep on the couch watching Glastonbury highlights. It was amazing. The label were there, so the label were on Black Hole Records. Big shout out if they do watch this. But there was a tweet. So there's a guy on the label, Scott Simpson. We spoke about him last time. He's becoming a regular on the podcast. We've only done one podcast, but he is the tour manager for First Aid Kit just now. I actually thought he was playing drums.
Isn't that?
I thought he was the way he played drums. He's a really talented drummer. He's played drums with him before, but he's doing he's tour managing with him. But the label went down to Glastonbury. They got side of stage for First Aid Kit, and there was a tweet with the label, and someone had said Phoebe Bridgers casually watching First Aid Kit at Glastonbury, and I'm just like, I just see the photo and I'm like, that's Christine for the label, and you just see Marty standing next there, and I was just like, what? And then I was like, so I messaged them, and I was like, I was in the group chat, and I was like, Mad, you've got a group chat with the label, but I was like, were you standing next to Phoebe Bridgers? And they were like, aye, and behind me is Mel C.
Really? Jeez,
do you read the group chats?
I keep up at most times. I must have missed that one. Mel C.
Aye, Mel C. But I was like,
is that scary?
I don't know, it's sporty.
Is it?
Aye, because I googled to check. Right. But anyway, I was like, that's absolute madness. But I was very jealous. Seeing them there and stuff, and everybody's in like an amazing like mood in that. And see the thought now. Before, when you're younger, you dream of playing festivals. Like I says, you dream it, like absolutely dream it. And we keep doing things that we dream of, like that you're like, oh, that's it. And before, when you're younger, you think that would be it. If we got on a festival when we were 16, done, completed it.
Oh, aye.
Catch you later. We went to Tea in the Park. When was the first year? 2009.
2009. Aye.
That was a belter.
And that was the eye opener. Like, Full Friday spent in King Tut stage. I can mind it.
And your cousin went missing.
Aye. Well, we didn't see him.
He's
like
in the healthcare tent.
Aye. And then he just kind of showed up.
He was like, I was at the healthcare tent. They had to I was like paramedics and that. You were just like, what?
He would have been 14-year-old.
Nah, he shouldn't have been. He should not have been there. We should have been there anyway. What was my mum and dad thinking? Fair play though, sounded in it.
Thank you.
No, but I remember being there and being desperate to play, and like the thought of playing a gig. Like the View used to play it year on year, but they would camp for the full weekend, and I was like, that's my dream. That's my absolute dream. And like seeing bands do that. Oh man, that's like Glastonbury would be the absolute dream to go down, because that's the only thing like Tea in the Park, other than probably Reading and Leeds. But you see now, Tea in the Park used to be the epitome of what I would want. Whereas now it's like Glastonbury's that thing.
Transmit doesn't quite grab me. Do you know what I mean?
Shut it, because we watch.
I'll cut this out. This is just between me and you.
We'll get the offer next year. Like, you'll be like, nah, man.
Desperate to play it. Didn't get me wrong. I would love to play it, but see, because I've never been.
You can slate Transmit because I know what you mean. I love it for different reasons compared to Tea in the Park. They're not in the same league. Tea in the Park and Transmit. Transmit's a different festival.
Exactly.
Tell you who's playing Transmit. Baby Strange, by the way. That's the new album. Signed copy. Number 4 out of 100 from Asai Records.
Is that number
in Edinburgh?
4 edition?
Aye, so Zach was telling me, right, there's like a Japanese tradition. I found this out, and I'm going to absolutely bastardise what the genuine meaning is. But they get, it's like OOB Strips, I think they're called.
Right.
But in Japan, like, because Japan, Japanese culture, they don't know the names of the bands. So they have strips in Japanese explaining what the music is, what the category is, and who the band's called. And so it's a really, like, they only get a really small quantity. And so the owner of Asai Records is really into that, like scene. And so he basically does it for Asai Records if they get a limited quantity. So I got number 4 out of 100 for them. And we are going to be releasing the EP through them. So we're going to see if we can try and get, because I think that's cool as in it.
I'd said that to Zach not too long ago, like, when we're getting EPs made up and that. It's like, are these going to be like first edition ones? Or like, are they going to come out as like the first one press type thing? Is there going to be numbers on them to kind of say which one? I wasn't too sure if that was a vinyl thing. For some reason in my head I was like, aye, that is a thing, like, you got the serial number 0001 or whatever. But then I'm thinking that might just be kind of comic books or something.
I don't know, because I remember there's a whole culture of EP collecting. So we've got so this here is the test press of the first vinyl we done, which was Candlemaker Row. So that's Candlemaker Row, as you can see. That's Lewis Capaldi's EP, and then you've got this, which is the test press of Mirror Mirror, which Zach handed. We've all got a copy of a test press, I think, for Mirror Mirror, and Zach handed it. Candlemaker Row, sorry, not Mirror Mirror.
I never even noticed the correct.
You're just nodding like, man, that was our first one. How many times did I say Mirror Mirror? But basically, Zach handed it to me and Alan at 5, and was like, we were just genuinely sitting there like, what the fuck is this? And he was like, it's the test press. And we were like, is this how they're going to look in that? Because we didn't know in the culture of collecting vinyls that the test press is like, there's only like 2 or 3 made max. And so then you like, they're really coveted. I didn't know that. And I felt really naive because like I'm in this world and I still know so little about it, sorry.
Anyway. It's pretty cool. Like that, all that sort of stuff, like it's basically like the first draft. It's kind of like
test press, Mirror here. No, it's the test. That's the test press of Rubik's. There, that actually says on it like test press. I don't know whose copy this is. I actually think it's the labels, but don't at me. But anyway, sorry. The vinyl thing. Sorry, I just interrupted you there, Joe. I actually piqued my interest there. I got curious. I was like, is that the? It's just hiding. I didn't even know it was there. But the vinyl thing. Sorry, you were saying.
No, like that sort of collecting anything type things, like first drafts, anything, like even with like songs, hearing like a demo of the songs before it was releasing, that's got a wee bit more behind it, I feel, than the song that everyone knows. If you somehow got your hands on like a demo tape or something, I don't think there's much of a thing anymore, because it's everything's just online or that. But that's what I was kind of hoping, these vinyls will have be like number one or that. But I don't think
I'm
that's
hoping that if they get excited to that, then that'll be like the number. But I think that's cool, isn't it? Back to what we were saying about you hating Transmit with a burning red passion. Transmit. No, but I know what you mean. It's like Primavera in a way, isn't it? It's like
no, because it kind of is in a way where you go there for a day and come back. But Primavera, you're in Barcelona. Right. With Transmit, you're just kind of down the road. So right. I'm going on Saturday. I'll actually get to see Baby Strange. I think the headline in the.
I've got tickets to the Scottish Open, which is on the Saturday. But I'm trying to see. I don't know what the script is. I bought it like ages ago. Alan's away in Florida. This was another thing that we weren't going to be able to play it this year anyway. We knew this well ahead of time, and so we weren't trying. But I'm away at the Scottish Open, and I'm kind of like, that'll be cool because it's the week before the Open. But I really want to go to Transmit. Well, I actually know people now. I know Baby Strange. I know Johnny.
Bems is
playing that, exactly, of course. And so there's people who are desperate to see. I might patch the Open. Watch this space. We'll see.
Oh, aye. Palermo as well on the Saturday, and then I'll be spending most of my day at that stage, and then Strokes headlining it. So that'll be great fun.
It's going to be an absolute belter. But I think the main point I'm trying to say for this year, we are getting FOMO. We are aiming to try and get festivals next year, but we are playing the long game. It's the horrible thing to try and do, but we knew we've got a strategy in place. We might not get any festivals next year. They're absolutely not a given. But we would hope that we get some festivals next year because of the year ahead that we're planning. But it didn't make sense to try and gun for festivals this year to then release an EP and then hope we get on the same festivals next year, because I don't think that's. I mean, you don't know how big your reach is and stuff like that. You can check through Facebook and stuff like that, but the kind of expectation is we've got a big release to go, and then next year we're hopefully then going to be sitting there going like, right, let's try and get on the festival circuit, because we're going to have something that people will have heard, hopefully.
Exactly, and then you kind of want your festival experience to be like that. Like, imagine going out like. I'm sure I've had a dream that, like, years ago, man, like walking out to in the park and the field just being empty. Like, I say a dream, man, nightmare.
I think I've had that dream as well.
But do you know what the bad thing was? We were on the main stage and absolutely everybody disappeared, man.
Well, see, the mad thing for me is I bet people who get on the main stage, because I think people who are in bands and like you do this stuff and then you end up going like, I want to do the next thing, and that you'd headline like the Riverside stage at Transmit. Then you'd be like, and I'm not saying that we would do that, I'm just saying that as an example, you'd headline that and then you'd be like, no, on the main stage, but. Mm-hmm. And then you get on the main stage and then you're like, no headline, but. And it's just this constant like cat and mouse thing where you're just like, you've got everything you could ever wanted. Like, I watched Elbow at Glastonbury, and they done that Grounds for Divorce and days like this, is it?
What's it called? I'm trying. What's a day? Throw your curtains wide. What's that called again?
I'm sure it was Days Like This or something. But they played and the sunset was there, and it was like mid-afternoon, and that is the slot. I remember I seen. I can't remember the name of them, but they're like a folk band for America. Really, really big. Fleet Foxes. I seen Fleet Foxes mid-afternoon, and it was the best thing ever, man. I was just remember sitting on the wee mound and be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. But you'd want to play like, you know, later on, and like because then you can do like a light show and stuff, and you're like, wow.
The light show is massive, man, as well. So, but
we'll see. Hopefully next year we can get on to some festivals, but we shall hope, we shall pray that hopefully if anybody's listening comes along to like St. Luke's, buys the EP, helps us get to that point where we can actually say like, gives a wee slot. But the mad thing is you're seeing all this happening and we're not doing anything. We're not doing nothing though. We are away trying to shoot videos and
exactly. We've got our own meal we're cooking up. They want to fill up on and all this sort of stuff that's going on now. The thing is, it'll be one of the things once September comes and all the pretty much the summer's behind you, then that's when we make our move.
Aye, no, I know what you mean, but we shall see. Now, that's the kind of we're getting interrupted on the podcast by an intruder. Right, up you get. He makes an entry every single podcast.
Yeah.
Up you go. We've got Finn the dog. Hiya, pal. Hiya, pal. You going up? There we go.
Yes, bro.
Hero. Finn, have you got much to say? Thanks very much. Anyway, so no, festivals aside, FOMO aside, everything like that. Also, we should say it is, what day is it today? Tuesday night. It's really late. It's like 20 to 10. I was just at the gym. I am obviously trying to get a pure gym deal. Get a sponsorship. I'm also wearing my protein. So hopefully the more we wear this stuff, Joe, they just do whatever. There is a couple of brands who have sent us some stuff who we're going to be tagging in some proper photos soon. But anyway, we have been on tour for the last little while. Now I know I've spoke about it already, but I've not spoke to you about it, right? So me and Zach had a conversation. How did you kind of feel it went? How did you enjoy it? Not enjoy it? What did your expectation?
Expectations were it's like, I don't know, you're going in there with a totally different mindset. More so because most of the time you're down, back up, and it was a wee bit spaced apart. So like some nights were great. Yeah. All the gigs were really good. Some parts in between catch up with you a bit. Yeah. Long times in the van, sleeping in, stuff like that, and you're thinking,
we're not going to gloss over that one. We'll get back to that in a second. But
there's times you can like, you're just like, I really cannot be. Can you really swear?
I've swore about 10 times already. Right. So,
but no, overall loved it. It's one of the things. It's an experience. I would love to tour elsewhere. I would love to do our own tour. That's what's kind of got me up for doing. Like it was great fun going down and not having to worry about the whole setting up thing. But at the same time, I just felt like every night was over in a flash.
Aye.
You're on, off, and then it's like, depending on what you're doing after the show, it's like you're either just going up the road or that. So it was like, I felt as mad and busy as it was just a wee taste as well. And
I feel that like it unlocked your touring now, but it was a wee taste.
Aye.
And you kind of feel, sorry, Finn's absolutely stealing the show here. He's just whining in the corner. But it kind of felt like a complete and utter, like, you do it, you get a wee taste of it, but you never actually get to not enjoy it, because I enjoyed it, but you're rushing to get somewhere, to get set up to play, to then leave. Is your whole mantra, where you're like, you need to get ready for the next one. And it's difficult to take it all in sometimes. And also you're busy all the time, and being like busy all the time. But then the mad thing is, you get to the place and a lot it's just waiting about. So you're busy, you're in a rush, you're in a mad rush, and then suddenly you get there and it's like, cool, we're running late by an hour. Mm-hmm. So then you're like, oh, like, right, all right. Because there was one day, we start on the first day, just after stereo, where my perspective is, I'm sitting there, I got up at 5 a.m, we're getting ready to leave for 6. And no answer for you, no text back, Joe, you ready? No nothing. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be picking up Zach. And we were so we were sitting on the couch, Joe's not ready, we tried to phone you, nothing, absolutely could not get it, dead to the world. So we were like, what the hell's going on? We're like, what is actually happening with him? So in between all this time, Zach's like, right, I'm going to go down to his house. So Zach went down, chapped on your windows, chapped on your door, phoned you. We thought you were maybe dead, and we were like, right, here we go. Zach had to go get fuel to meet the van. So Zach,
so bad
so Zach went to the garage. So he never got fuel in his van because you were picking him up to take him to meet the van. He went up to the garage. He had a $5, and the $5 he took it out and it flew away, and it went under his van, and he had to crawl under the van to get it, scraped on his knee and bust his trackies. And so the whole time you were dead to the world with no idea where you are, and we had to make the call just to leave and go without you. Luckily, the whole kind of thing with Zach and the shingles, we had everybody's stems available just in case. We're like, we're just going to have to go. And Zach's sitting there with a bloody knee in the van, and I'm just like, what's happening? He was like, didn't even ask me. It took 2 hours to get that story out. So anyway, fast forward to like 8:30. And you awake, you go, all right, cool, no worries, and then you phone us, and that is the most panicked I have heard you ever when you phoned me and went, Michael, I've just woke up, and then
shock, man, it was total shock,
because
it wasn't like, it wasn't Carlisle we were playing, it wasn't Newcastle, it was literally fucking toenails of England pretty much. Can
I call that?
I was no, I'm bad. There's nothing wrong with doing it. I just mean it was really fun.
Southend on Sea 2023.
To be fair, it wouldn't be the toenails. It would kind of be the knuckle bit of the toe, because I was a bit after it. And it's like, right, hi. What
it was you can't date, and you to be fair to you, so you jumped in the car and basically caught up with us by the time we got to Lancashire. You caught up with us at the service station, you pelted in the motorway, caught up with us, and eventually just jumped in the van, left your car, and we managed to play the show. But that was still the clangor of that kind of period of time. I don't think anybody else dropped. Did anybody drop a clangor?
Do you know the moral of that? But see, after all of that rushing about, still had to stand about going to Southend.
Because that's what we're saying. So we got down to Southend on Sea, and that was a 12-hour drive. That was a long day. And well, actually not 12-hour drive, it was a 10-hour drive. We'd been up, and we got there, and we'd been rushing, and we were like, fucking hell, we're going to just make this for Soundcheck. And we jumped in, and the first band, the first Soundcheck, the ratings hadn't even started Soundchecking. And I mind just being like, we thought we were in a mad rush, we were caught in traffic and all that. And I remember driving the van, I drove us I'd done the last stint, I was just exhausted. We got there, and then literally it was like we had to wait because the sound checks were delayed, so we only got a 15-minute sound check, and we had to set up and play. Mm-hmm. And that weekend we went from Stereo, Southend on Sea, Northampton. I had COVID the week before, so my voice was gone. Northampton, we nearly missed because we were in Southend on Sea having ice cream.
Good ice cream.
We went and played the mini golf, and we took a wee wander around, went to the Greasy Spoon, had a nice breakfast, and then we had the ice cream on the beach. Never left until like 2, and then there was an accident on the motorway, so we were nearly late for Northampton. We were all burst, exhausted. We were like, fuck this, get me up the road. Northampton was like one of the highlights of the tour.
It was a good show.
Amazing. Aye. So anyway, how did you enjoyed it?
Aye.
Could have been better, could have liked to actually take it in. Mm-hmm. Anything you would do differently now you've done
it? What you were talking about last time, definitely getting to the next city the night before. Pain in the arse leaving and that after you play, but see, having the day just to chill out, like, and Inverness was one of the best ones, man. See, having that full day. Aye. And you felt refreshed by the time it came to playing, and the loading wasn't bad, and that, and it was that was what I would say was the best thing to go about it. But at the same time, it's quite hard to leave places. Like Northampton could have been a great night if we were hanging about there.
Aye. That's the heart. It's always that thing. But I always feel that it's like you think you get FOMO where you're constantly like, it's going to be amazing, but then you just, if you have to leave, you have to leave.
Aye.
Like,
I know.
It is what it is. But aye. No, I think that's the one thing I took away. But I was thinking of like other tips and that I'm like, because my mind went blank when I thought about it there, and I was like, what else would I kind of say to myself? And like, one of the things is like, even like booking hotels and stuff like that. Like, I always thought you had to book everything well in advance, but actually the closer you get to the date, you can always find somewhere. And I'm like, we ended up in some pretty, I don't think we had a really terrible hotel. The person who complained the most was Zach. He missed the majority of the hotels, and he complained the most about that hotel in Southend on Sea, which was just a B&B, but it had a creepy painting in the room, and it wasn't the best. But nowhere was the worst. Nowhere was bogging. Like,
there's been no places where you've felt like you couldn't sleep, if you know what I mean.
Nah, My favourite though was when we went to. I'm sure I said in the last one, but when we were in Inverness and Alan and Zach ran into the single rooms. It was the single room with 2 beds, and they 2 ran in and went like, "Oh, we're bags in this one," because the other room was a double. And me and you were like, "Fuck, it doesn't matter, man. We didn't care." And then their room stank as shit. It had the waste pipe, and so then we were cuddled up on the fucking double bed, like get it up, But I don't think there was any kind of bad hotels and stuff like that. But again, I don't know. I had a lot of like, I don't know what I would do differently, because I actually think by the end of it, we managed to kind of properly get it. I got like a wee wash bag of stuff by the end of it. Instead of buying or try to grab what I had here, I just had a wee wash bag, so that I had like a wee touring wash bag that I could just jump in with me. But what's mad is at that time, it made perfect sense to buy all this shit. I was like, yep, cool. Bought like a new bag, North Face bag, big rucksack, so I could hold that. The saddest thing is bringing a change of clothes for when you're playing, like a pop star would, like, because you're like, but it is good to do that, because you need anyway to play in the stuff you've been travelling in, unless you have to. Yep. But the one of the kind of couple of things for me is now it feels completely pointless. Like I'm sitting there with a travel wash bag, and I'm like, not doing anything for a while. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I miss it. You know what I mean?
I know.
But I enjoy the fact that we're not, because I'm able to like write songs. We're able to go and record videos. We're able to go and record live sessions and actually practice as well a lot more. But there is a part where I'm just like, oh man,
yep,
you want to get back at.
Well, that's it. I mean, once this EP's released in September, then it's on to the next thing.
Again, man, that's a big thing as well, because like did you go for walks and stuff like that when you were away?
In Inverness, no really. Southend, I went out a wee bit. Southend walk was nicer, but Inverness I done a good easy 15k, I think.
We were on one that day, man.
I wanted to go and see I was just trying to think of like places to go, so I was like, I'll go and see the stadium.
Cool, actually.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't as windy as what I thought it was going to be up there.
Everybody says it when you're watching like Celtic and that against it. It's like, the wind up in it. Like,
it seemed alright. It seemed alright where I was. I think Duran were playing that night. So
were they?
Tried to get as a support slot. But
yeah, that would be a class support slot, to be fair. But the thing is with me is that like, I never realised, and like for like this is difficult to, not difficult, but like it's you didn't know who's listening, right? But like, because there's some of this people should be like, shut the fuck up, I don't care, like sing some songs, right? But the mad thing for me is that like how last minute a lot of the tour was like it was like he's either doing it or you're like the next person will take it if you don't want it, and you're like, fucking hell, it costs us a lot of money, and it was like, Jesus, like what are you gonna do? But also, there's an unknown element now where we don't know if we're going to get another support slot. That could be it. We could be done. That could be us. We can maybe no play any festivals. That's us done. Thanks very much. But you kind of have to clear your calendar on the off chance that you do. But also not plan your shows around getting support slots. Just keep planning your shows. Yep. And I think that's what we're trying to do now. But it's really, we've got to be tasty it. And you're desperate to get married and like do it yourself and stuff like that, but that takes time and it takes planning, and you're like, okay, so there's no point in rushing into that. No, because if you try and rush into it, then you think it's just going to happen overnight, and it doesn't. It takes ages to get to that point, but it has to make sense. Like people who cancel who can't afford it, all that sort of stuff.
In Dublin, we're kind of between that sort of like between 12 to like 4 o'clock before we had to go and like loading and that, it's like just try and enjoy it, and kind of maybe push the pint rule just a wee bit.
But what's our pint rule? I didn't normally. So what I realised that live in Livy, I would always say 3 to 4 maximum pints, right? Now I'm kind of like, I can't really drink before I play. I'm like, that's cool. So now I know that. But the thing with me is we've got that much equipment that can go wrong.
Yep.
It's not even the fact that it's not even the drinking or that. It's just that like I get it because it's like rock and roll kind of aspect to it, where you're like, fuck it, let's go and play a gig, and it loosens you up, and you're like, yes. But also knowing how to properly figure out what's wrong and deal with that is a bit difficult, because you didn't really know what there is. Man. But you don't know what could happen, and it's like you need to be able to kind of act fast and stuff like that with it, which is harder.
It's different when you used to do it, just showing up with guitars, no amps, no nothing. You had your guitar, a lead, and that was it. You can get as drunk as you want. You weren't like that was just part of it, to be honest. Like I reckon we must have played maybe about 3 or 4 years worth of gigs, like when we first started, before I played a gig sober.
I know, man. And then suddenly it's the norm. But what I find when you play a gig sober is you're right in it and you enjoy it. Like you properly, like you remember everything about it. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think sometimes when you're having a drink, you forget aspects of it. It's just like you remember it being class. And then I remember, we played the Barras. And I remember every aspect of that. It doesn't seem like a dreamer that it was like, no, I remember that. It was amazing.
I opened one beer just before we went on stage and drank about half it. So I wasn't sober. But I was. Nah.
Yeah, you were. I don't. But
still, nah. It's like one of them. It doesn't bother me now. It used to kind of get in my head where it would just be everything else that's happening. I would think about, but it wasn't the fact that I couldn't do it. It's just the fact you were that used to doing it with a drink before. And
becomes the default for something.
But it's just like you just kind of you get used to it. That's what your sort of head's expecting. So when you start doing it sober at first, it's like, and then after a while, it's absolutely no problem at all.
I know what you mean. I think like for me, you get to a point where obviously you will just be like, no, I'll just stay away. Like you will go to bed and stuff like that because you're like, nah, like I want to enjoy the actual playing. But I remember I drove to the Barras and stuff like that, and I prefer that. I actually think I prefer that. So boring, but like in my old youth, but it's no boring. It's class. It's actually exactly. Because then you start realising you're making the most of all these kind of opportunities that you get, which is amazing. But we shall see, because when you do your first kind of big boy tour and stuff like that, we'll see. We'll see how they get on.
I think we'll all be alright. Honestly, I think we'll be, Zach only drink. Alan's pretty sensible.
Yeah. Sensible man.
I made you, if we were just left ourselves, could be problematic.
The only reason I wouldn't drink, but the thing is, man, I just fucking... a day, like, because there's a couple of times where you're just like, oh man, there was like one in Manchester where I was just like, that was my night out because I was driving home from Newcastle the next game day. So it's like I don't have like the want to drink all the time. It's not like when I'm sitting there, but it's also like there's a couple of times where you're like, I can enjoy this. Like, it's not that you don't need booze to enjoy it with that, and I know that. But the difference I think is when it's your own shows and stuff like that is that like you want to make sure you're no ruining. Like, say for instance, we were playing. Imagine we played the Barras and it was a road show. Just licking his bits. Thankfully, nobody can see that. But look at the leg in that. Fuck's sake, Finn. But the thing with me is playing the Barras. If we were playing 2 nights in a row, we would drink the first night. We wouldn't. Nah. We wouldn't. And I know we wouldn't but it's that thing of like just knowing where knowing what your kind of limits are and stuff like that, but also realising that if you're trying to sell something like a show, people are coming to see you, and you'll treat it a wee bit differently. And that's the difference that I think the more we do it and stuff like that. Live in Livy, I had 3 pints before we went on, but it started at like midday. But even then, I was like, I just didn't. I was like, I had 2 pints in a bottle, but I was like from midday. Then I stopped like 3 hours before we played, and I was just like, I didn't.
But see, the thing with like Live at Livy and that, it's just that you see so many people you hadn't seen for ages.
It was a catch up. It was an absolute catch up. It was amazing. Everybody's like, I was touring in that day, and you're like, good, but I'm bossed, mate. I'm absolutely bossed.
Everyone's around you fucking drinking and that, and it's just easier to kind of go into the things with a drink. But anyway, listen, I think that's kind of. I just wanted to kind of get your take on like the tour and stuff like that. What would be good if anybody's listening is like, so me and Zach talked about a wee bit of a format, right? We're not going to have any like games or anything like that, but it's just literally I want to do one with Alan as well. I think whilst Alan's away on holiday in Florida, living out with Mickey Mouse, so we'll do on the Freya's next week. But if you've got any questions and stuff like that, because that's one thing I was like, I'll ask if people have questions. Quite a lot of people ask about our setup and stuff like that, what we play and like how we play it and stuff, and I think that'd be quite good. It's not for everybody, but I'm like, also I would find it quite interesting if I could hear
what, like, how do you actually run all this stuff live? We had some issues at Live and Livy at the weekend where we couldn't get the vocals through, but even just being able to say stuff like this, it's absolutely class. Other than that, Conquistador was released 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
We've hit near enough 5,000 streams, I think, which is mad because it's not done as good as Rubik's Cube, but it's done exactly as well as we wanted it. It's actually done better than we thought it would, but you still feel, because it's not done as well as Rubik's, you're like, oh, man. But Rubik's is the absolute, that is the name of the EP. We've built an EP around that song, so it's like cool. But it's cool that everybody's listening to it and streaming it, and it would get included on like radio. Big Bobby Carlisle tweeted us as well.
Did he? Loves it.
Didn't even know.
Really? Doesn't he? No, in fact, did I know? I think I seen that. To be honest, I didn't really go on Twitter that as much.
Do you go on WhatsApp to read any of the...
But what happens?
Do you have your group chats muted?
No. Like, see, the chat always comes during working hours. So I look at my phone, there'll be one message. I'll like sound, turn away for half an hour. You can scroll on the phone like and it just goes and goes and goes. And I'm like, where do I start? Like, break this down. I keep up with it. I'll go back and catch up with it. But at this point, there's nothing really to say.
Aye.
And then don't get me wrong. There's days where you're just kind of like you just know, like there to like you just your head's not in it. But when every day might seem like that for me. But it's just sometimes it's just like, what is going on? And this is the party playing in the band. I never expected coming, man. This is a business side of it, which I'm coming round to, like. Joe Baddy, I can't sit and like just. And that is when all the chat comes.
To be fair, like me, Zach, and Alan, I think are in a slightly different position where we can text whilst we're at work, and that makes it completely different because then you feel that you're like, oh, like, I mean, what's going on is like that. But it's like you're coming round to it. You're getting more involved. We've got Alan on accounts. We've got Zach, who's managing the band. You do the Bebo and that.
I'm going to edit this. So put it in.
Just you do everything, Joe. Like just go ahead and edit saying, no, I'm the solo. Your shoulders are tired for carrying the band. But no, I know what you mean. It's like, but it's that was the part I never realised. And I don't think I fully realised just yet as well that a lot of it is actually just like business side, man, and also trying to plan your next move properly without mucking it up, without doing anything that's going to really impact your next one. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to do the wrong thing, but then also I used to worry that you had to do everything intensely. Yeah. I've heard people like leaving their jobs and stuff like that for like trying to pursue either going on tour or do something, and I'm like, I don't think we would ever view it like that because it's not really sustainable if you have to do that. I think for us, you have a time and all that in music, then you kind of come to the top, and you'd hope. But I've also realised that it's like complete step improvements. We played 10 shows in 3 years. We've played 26 in 3 months, and suddenly one in a month seems like it's absolutely nothing. Yep. You have to kind of take a step back and be like, cool, but we might not play for a while, then just completely double down on what it is we want to do. So. Like big shows and stuff like that because we want to do more production and all that. So
exactly, yeah, definitely.
If you're going to the Chippy, what are you ordering?
I was actually thinking about going tonight.
What's your dream order? I'm sorry this has been a long podcast, but what is your dream order for the Chippy?
My go-to would be just a sausage supper. I can't say it. Sausage supper.
Sausage.
Plenty of sauce. I do like the half pizza.
The what do you call it? The sausage. I know what you mean.
Just like a bad sausage supper.
A battered, so not smoked sausage.
Nah.
That's cool. That's what I meant.
Nah, smoked sausage. Nah.
Battered sausage supper. Fair enough.
Don't mind like half pizza. I would sometimes go for if I want something just a wee bit cleaner, something that's got to make me feel less.
Oh, right, like, sorry, I thought you meant like a pizza crunch.
No, just like you get like the half pizzas.
Cleaner.
Like then the sauce. Man, I love them. I love the smell of them. But after eating them, it is the worst thing. I regret it so much. And I rarely get them. But I was actually thinking today because I was driving past the Chippy in West Calder. Used to go there all the time.
Good, man. It's a good shout out the Chippy West Calder.
What's it called now?
The Chippy.
Is it?
It's like literally the Chippy West Calder.
I'm not going to go there, Bucks. It's too far away. I prefer to get something in it and take it back home and eat it.
Life changing bit of advice though is getting the sauce from the Chippy instead of getting the sauce on it at the Chippy.
Well, that's during lockdown when I would get a Chippy delivered. Never get it with the sauce on it because you don't know where about this guy's driving. This guy's could be anywhere before it comes to you. It comes soaking wet and just nice. So that's when I realised you get it, and then you can do the sauce how you want, man.
You can air fry it as well if it's in. You can chuck
I've
it in
not
the
tried
air fryer.
that yet.
It's alright. The chips in. Sorry. Anyway, you were going to say earlier on, but your dream order would be.
To be honest, because I didn't go that often. When I get a sausage supper, man, it's a dream.
Fair enough. I think that's. I'm really interested in this because it's really polarizing when you go. You just think that your favourite is everybody's favourite. Like for instance, if I'm going to a Chippy, I'm probably the older I've got. I used to get a haggis supper. That was my dream order. Now, I either get a fish supper, but if they do kebabs, I get a mixed kebab. That's my favourite, getting a mixed kebab. Me and my dad. I was a chubby boy when I was younger. I used to get a 16-inch doner kebab pizza every time we went to the Chippy. 16-inch doner kebab pizza, bag of chips between us, right? And then you'd have like just layered up doner kebab pizza and like the next day in the morning you'd have at least like 3 or 4 slices left, and then you'd have it for breakfast and that. And see, looking back, I'm like, no wonder I was the size I was it, man. But that is my dream order now is fish and chips, no sauce, just salt. Come home. Put some vinegar and sauce on it. It's different.
I wouldn't go anywhere near vinegar, man. Nah.
Oh, mate, you need a wee bit of vinegar on it, man. Nah. You been to the Anstover Chippy?
Nah.
They just put salt and vinegar on it, no sauce. Different level, man. But anyway, this isn't a food podcast yet. It will be soon.
It could be a part. It could be a
last
section.
What about Chinese? just to quickly wrap it up.
Chinese, I can easily say my dream order is nothing.
Really? Do you hate Chinese?
Not a fan of Chinese. Didn't get me wrong, I would eat egg fried rice and like chicken balls for the Chinese, but that would be what's the word? Like, it's just no Chinese, you know what I mean? Like, what I would get for the Chinese isn't the Chinese. That's why I just wouldn't go to Chinese. If I was wanting chicken, I would go elsewhere. But I'm just not a Chinese man.
Well, that's fair. Chicken and fried rice, chips and curry sauce is what I would get.
See, that's alright. Like, I was getting the special rice for a bit. Like,
so you're not a Chinese man.
Like, I would only go if someone else is gone. I would only ever get like, I got the Chinese. I was like, I'll get something. Let me see, and I would look, and it would just be like, what's the sort of plainest thing on the menu?
My niece, I believe, one of my nieces got an omelette for the Chinese. No thanks. No, thank you. But again. That could be her dream order for the Chinese. Getting an omelette for the Chinese.
Exactly.
Who's buying an omelette for the Chinese? Fair play.
Have you ever had? I think it's something Maryland, chicken Maryland, or a Maryland thing for the Chinese.
Is it battered chicken?
It's like,
what are you doing?
Mate, this thing is the worst thing ever, man. So it's like a bit of chicken. I don't know if it was a mixed Maryland or something, because there was chicken in it. I was a slice of pink. Fuck knows what it was, man. I think it was like a sausage, a link sausage in it or something.
I think you've been done here, man.
Nah, was it Maryland? It was a while ago.
I don't know, but you hate to find this. I would like to know, like, I want to know everybody's dream order for you. What about the Indian? You can edit this, by the way, so that it's not too long. You can just condense it.
Indian, didn't go that often, but tikka masala, man, all day, every day.
Aye. Tikka masala.
I love it. Because she's one. Oofed.
The tandoori anything, right? When they cook it in the wee tandoor grill, and it's like, see if you get tandoori chicken. Oh my days! It's like, it's you can get tandoori chicken in a tikka masala,
right?
And you can get you can get loads of different things. I used to be right into a biryani, right? Like I just so obviously, like, so my other half has roots from India. Our mum was born in Singapore. Her mum and dad's or her grandparents were born in India. And there's a lot of like Indian food in parts of India that's not just Indian food. Calling it Indian's like mad. You've got like South India and North India, and there's like parts of South India where you're like, wow, like they eat some amazing food. But for me, if I'm going to the Indian, it's normally here a tandoori chicken, might be a tikka masala, some form of naan. I like a garlic naan, but also a roti, which is also nice. It's just, again, it's a different type of bread. One thing as well, have you ever heard of dal? Which is,
I've heard it.
Heard of dal? It's like basically.
Is that the guy who wrote the books?
Aye, roll. You get a roll on dal, but you get dal. It's like a lentil kind of side thing, man, and it's like it's absolutely class because it's like a dipping thing, but it's also a main if you want it to be. But like the kind of element of loads of different types of food and parts where you can just kind of and like you get there's a lot of stuff that defines, like I wouldn't just go to the Indian and get one curry. It would be like hundreds of things to go along with it, man. But tandoori chicken for me.
See, I'll look into the tandoori chicken because if I can get that in a tikka masala, man, then
100%. Right, we've done chippy, we've done Chinese, we've done Indian. That is my takeaway part. I am really interested to hear what everybody else's favourite takeaway is because I just think it's a given. Like you think fish and chips, but some people hate fish and chips, and you're like, no chance I wouldn't touch that with a bashful. We were down in Manchester with what's his face, Rich Goodwin, manager of the Ratings, who also shot the Rubik's Cube video. He directed the Rubik's Cube video. They're all having fish suppers for their lunch.
Aye.
They're like so. I don't know if this is sacrilege just here in West Lothian, but they're like, do you want anything for the, what did they call it again? It was some really, it was some just.
Did they call it a chipper or have I heard that for some?
No, I think it might be chipper, but they were like, and we were like, what? And they were like, and we were like, is it what you doing? And we thought, okay, they must be like, their chippy or chipper must be something like a cafe. So we were looking like, all day, whatever. And then they're like, I'll take a fish and chips. And I was like, is it a supper? And they're like, aye. And I'm like, but it's like 1 PM, man. And I can't fathom having a chippy at 1 PM unless I'm hungover, unless I'm absolutely burst, or if I'm away at like Tea Park. It doesn't exist anymore. But a chippy at 1 PM whilst we're shooting a video, we're jumping about. I'm like, no chip. What I can't mind what I got. Someone got chips and curry sauce. I got a baked potato. And it was quite nice.
I can't mind what I got. I think I just got chips, to be honest. I was the same looking through that. I'm like, there's nothing here I would eat for like my lunch.
Shocking behaviour though. Anyway, we have been Dictator. Michael, Joe, thanks for listening. Hopefully by the next one you'll see what Zach's favourite takeaway is. But we'll speak to you soon. Thanks for listening to That Dictator podcast.
Bye.
Bye.